Alright, this is an effective clears video for shaped coves. Well, coves. Shape doesn't really matter. So with coves, when you first look at it, it looks pretty straightforward, but there are some notes to take in for it. So obviously when you first start, you're always going to have 4 different routes you can go, kind of a cross shape. Pick whichever one you want. And then the catch comes in when there's water involved. So you could technically just do a giant circle around the whole map, all fine and dandy, but you are going to miss the mobs either that are hugging the walls or that spawn in the water. So once you start and you pick your route, run all the way to a wall. Now that you've got that revealed, what's important to keep in mind is to try and do a zigzag pattern throughout the map. So what I mean by that is we're going to run this way, go up, and then back down, hit the water, go up and back down, and pretty much repeat that. Now it's gonna seem like it's hurting your overall clear time, but the effectiveness of doing it really can't be beat, because that's how you're gonna make sure you get all the enemies. I mean, if you're just trying to blitz through it and you don't care about having 50 enemies remaining when you're done, I mean, you could just do a big circle, that's fine. But the whole point of these videos, the effective clears, is to try and get as much, not necessarily a 100% completion, but as much of them as you can while being realistic in terms of powering through your maps. So we still haven't hit the water, so this was pretty good, but we're still doing the zigzag. Get a wall here, go this. It wasn't really a wall, it was kind of went under. I heard something drop. It's a div card. So now it's easy to get carried away with picking up some items or chasing enemies like I just kind of did. So this whole water area down below me I essentially skipped. So we're going to run back there, kind of hug the water. Now as we're doing this, you'll see at some point in this map, I'm sure it'll happen, enemies will spawn in the water, and that's why we're doing the zigzag. Clear this up, pop a chance orb on that. Down here, see right there, those guys, if you were just doing a general circle, you would have missed. And there's usually a lot more than just one, it's not a question of just that one pack. And this is the boss, just gonna end him real quick. Okay, so now we get back to our zigzag, come down here, more enemies that spawn in the water. When you get to a little wreckage like that, you don't gotta get too crazy. That's usually where the boss is gonna be. Keep doing our zigzag. Now they can be pretty wide. The spawn area for the enemies in the water is usually a decent size. You don't need to necessarily run on top of them. You just gotta be within their general aggro range. So keep going here. We got a statuary. We like the statuary, so that's cool. I'm gonna go back and do that trial after this video because I do like getting offerings. I run them as much as I possibly can. Here's the water spawns. So that's been what, 4 water spawns already? 3 or 4? That all of them would be missed if you're just doing a general tight circle around the map. So that is why we're doing zigzags. I'm gonna die if I'm not careful because I don't have my think towers class. Here we go. Good. Good, good, good. When you do the zigzag, it's not just a question of the water. A lot of times, I'll elaborate on this in a second. This brown arc here on the map, that's not a wall. That's this little underpass archway. So often mobs will be hiding in there or just on either side of them, and they can be tricky to see unless you actually run through it. So that does tie into the zigzag. Now we're going to come back dip in the water. I don't know what those guys are doing all the way over there. Continue zigzagging. Here's some more enemies. Ziggy, ziggy, zag. More enemies. And you see a lot of them will just pop out of the ground like that, and that's really what makes the full clear on this tricky if you're not doing that pattern. So 4 monsters cleared is awesome. I mean, that could be, I don't think this head beyond. No, but those are usually just little stragglers. 4 is great. We're happy with 4. So normally I just end the run, call it a day, but I do actually want to run back and do that trial. I just didn't want to bother wasting time on the video. But that's it. That's effective clear for coves. Nothing too crazy. Remember your zigzags. If you're looking at your map, you'll notice that most of the water is pretty thick. It's not like just a thin, one tile line, but as you're revealing it, it will be. So thinner areas like right here probably means I could have ran into this water and made that a little fatter, but we did cover that, so it shouldn't be a problem. Down here we most likely got that's pretty thick. But if you watch back as I was throughout this video, when I'm doing the zigzag towards the walls, the water will start to reveal, but it's very thin, only just like this border here. So make sure you get good reveals on all the water so that you hit the packs. And that's it.